Hello and welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into a story that almost changed the course of history, a single, secret phone call that pulled the world back from an all-out war with just 90 minutes to spare.
So let's set the scene. It's early 2026. Tensions between the United States and Iran are at a fever pitch. And then, with American bombers literally in the air, the US president issues this absolutely chilling ultimatum. We're not talking about a warning shot here. This was a threat of total annihilation.
A hard deadline was set, 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. The Pentagon was all systems go. And then, silence. With only an hour and a half left on the clock, the attack is called off. Just like that. The world lets out a massive sigh of relief, but everybody is asking the exact same question. How? How was this war stopped just moments before it was supposed to begin?
To figure out what happened, you first have to understand where the call didn't come from. It wasn't the Oval Office, the source of the ultimatum in the first place. And nope, it wasn't a call from Moscow either. Now, Russia is a huge player in the region, and they were definitely worried, but their influence just wasn't enough to stop that countdown clock.
It also wasn't Beijing. Sure, China has immense economic power, but they weren't the ones who picked up the phone and made the call that mattered.
The call that saved the day was made at 4:23 in the morning from Islamabad. Yeah, the critical breakthrough came from a totally unexpected place, Pakistan.
So, this begs a massive question, right? How was this even possible? I mean, how did Pakistan, a country many people see as being on the sidelines, suddenly become the key player, the central architect of a global peace deal?
Well, Pakistan's success wasn't about military might or economic muscle. It was all about its unique position as a trusted, neutral intermediary. And look, this wasn't some last-minute miracle. It was the result of a quiet, 11-month diplomatic effort to build what sources are calling an invisible architecture of communication.
And this right here is that invisible architecture in action. Just think about it. Pakistan was in this incredible position where it could leverage 6 different critical relationships all at the same time. They had a direct line to the Trump administration as a security partner, but they also had decades of trust with their neighbor, Iran. They had deep economic ties with Saudi Arabia, that all-weather friendship with China, and brand new energy deals with Russia. And the real kicker? They even had discreet back channels to Israel. No other country in the world could have been a credible messenger to every single one of these players at once.
Okay, so all of this patient, behind-the-scenes work, all of this relationship building, it was all about to be put to the ultimate test. The entire architecture of trust would come down to one single phone call made in the dead of night with the clock ticking towards war.
This is just incredible. Okay, so at 4:23 a.m., the call is made to Iran. By 4:40 a.m., just 17 minutes later, a formal yes comes back through the secure channel. And by 4:57 a.m., Pakistan relays that confirmation to Washington, Beijing, Moscow, Riyadh, everyone. In 34 minutes, a war was stopped.
So what was in the deal? Well, it was a masterclass in diplomacy, really. It wasn't just a simple, hey, please stop. It was a complex 4-part offer. It gave Iran something it wanted, a favorable ruling on some military hardware, but made it conditional on Tehran stopping its cyber attacks. It threw in an accelerated economic investment package, and it was all backed by a personal guarantee from Pakistan's own prime minister. It gave both sides a win, a way to de-escalate without looking weak. The impact of this secret deal? Well, it was immediate and it was seismic. And it wasn't just felt in the capitals of the world. You could see it ripple across the entire global economy.
You can literally see the global sigh of relief priced in real time. Brent crude oil, which had been skyrocketing, just plummeted by over 11% in a single day. That's one of the sharpest drops in history. The markets had been betting on war, and suddenly they were betting on peace.
And it wasn't just oil. Wall Street's S&P 500 futures jumped 2.3% pretty much instantly. Markets in Asia saw their biggest gains of the year. The message from the global economy was crystal clear. Nobody wanted this war.
Now, publicly, both sides immediately claimed they had won. President Trump called it a total and complete victory, while Iran called it a strategic win. And this right here is the classic sign of a successful compromise, right? When both sides can walk away and tell their people they came out on top.
Of course, not everyone was celebrating. Over in India, Pakistan's biggest rival, the news was met with, well, total shock. Their media had been pushing this story of an isolated Pakistan for months, and then this stunning diplomatic win, which some outlets were calling a fraud, just shattered that narrative completely. But with the immediate danger over, we have to ask the hard question. What does this really mean? How fragile is this new peace?
See, the ceasefire only created a 2-week window for talks in Islamabad, and on the table is Iran's 10-point plan. Now, some things were agreed on, like reopening the Strait of Hormuz, but the really tough issues, the big ones like lifting all U.S. sanctions, those are still very much under negotiation.
And that really gets to the hard truth of the matter. This ceasefire, it wasn't the end of a war. It was really just the postponement of one. All the core issues that led to this crisis in the first place, the sanctions, the nuclear program, all of it, they're all still there.
Which leaves us with a final, kind of chilling thought. The invisible architecture of peace that Pakistan built was just strong enough to stop the clock this time. But it's incredibly fragile. 90 minutes saved the world from the brink, for now. But you have to wonder, when the next crisis comes and the next deadline is set, will there be another 90 minutes?